Hello guys, I'm going to talk you through the cycles that we'll be testing. Now, a subscriber is pointing out that I'm using far too long cycles, so I'm going to try and help myself and help the machine last longer by trying not to use such a long cycle. Say the Allergy Plus. I could maybe do this. I mean, that is not the shortest cycle. I think maybe Cottons for an 100 spin. 250, I don't know. Well, 40. Now, 40 is longer. Because I do want to use the Allergy Plus for a reason. I suffer allergies, and that's a problem. I need to use, at least I have to use this, which adds in more time. The 60 degree does take less time. But overall, this cycle up here, I think I've used this before. What makes it long is the eco on it. That's part of the Vario Perfect. So, 257, or it's over 250. Well, I feel, Allergy Plus is made for allergies, eczema and itchiness. So, Allergy Plus is really the one that I would much prefer to use. I know it's still a very long wash, but it's longer than doing this. That is long. 3 hours 12 is definitely so much longer. So 2 hours 57. And don't forget, this machine regulates load. It clearly senses the load, and it will use at appropriate time and, all that, because it's a smart washing machine. This is a washing machine that senses the load, like all washing machines do. Then that's it, being the basic machine it is, it still senses the load. So say it's 2 hours 10, it will reduce the time, maybe sometimes to just 2 hours. This machine could reduce the time if it really wanted to maybe from 2 hours 57, and during the sensing it could reduce it all the way to 2 hours 30 if it wanted. It's a smart washing machine, and some people think the cycle's long, but that's just for the sensing. Once it does sense the load, it will then decide what time is appropriate for the load. Because, and I'm not going to use the 90, because 90, I don't want to shrink anything. And even this would still be 250. I think that's the same with the, 250. So, really, it's either 250 or 257. And I'm going to try 250, alright? I know it's 60 degrees. I'm not supposed to use 60 degrees on a dark wash, but I'm still gonna. Because I've done it before, and none of the darks clothing that I've put inside has ever changed colour. So I've used 60 with dark washing before, and it's never shrunk, it's never gone lighter, it's never faded any colours away. So 60 is my favourite temperature. But the thing is, I do like to use the Vario Perfect Eco option, as that is what saves water and energy. But, I think I'll just use Allergy Plus with no options, or I'll use Allergy Plus, but I will use Aqua Plus, which will then take up to the time of, what is the time that will take? 2 hours 57. Now, even though that seems like a longer wash, that compared to 4 hours 50 or 3 hours 12 is definitely a lot shorter. Or some people might think that's not very short, not much of a difference, but I personally think it is, and the machine will sense the load, it will regulate exactly how much time it needs. Because I've put in loads in here, I've put a half load once, and knew what it was. It knew that it needed less time to wash the load because it was a half wash. Because it was half load up to here, and it sensed that the load was halfway in the drum after soaking it, and then it decided that it needed to reduce that time to something appropriate. Same with tumble dryers. Tumble dryers are exactly the same. They sense the load because they've got sensors down in here, and that's like the sensor for tumble dryers. Thingy. And washing machines have sensors, but they're hidden away. They're hidden away below the drum because this machine has a flow through sensor, which then it knows. You think? So this machine's lasted it's impressed me, and I've not noticed any faults. Using these cycles, I've not noticed any faults so far. So, overall, the machine's done a good job. Even though people do argue to me saying that I'm using far too long washers. Put it this way, this machine's smart. I know this machine, and I know that it does sense the load and reduce the time if it needed. Because Bosch is what they are. Bosch is a great company. They, I think, specialize in washing machines. I think before they even made any other equipment, I think they first started with washing machines. So I'm pretty sure they specialize in these machines. So they know exactly what they're doing with their washing machines. And if they really don't want to, and if washing machine companies really want their machines to last a long time, don't put these extremely long washers on. Limit it to 2 hours 30 total, or 1 hour total time. Or just put everything quick, like cotton's quick, allergy quick, shirts quick. Put everything as a quick wash. Then your machine won't have to work hard. But the thing is, companies don't do that, which is kind of, in my point of view, is stupid. And I'm not just saying that to Bosch, I'm saying this to all companies. That's ProAction, Flavel, Ebac, Beko, Blomberg, Grundig, Hotpoint, Indesit, all companies you can think of. They all use such long washers, and I don't even get why they should just stop these kinds of cycles. They should completely stop with the long washers and just move completely onto these quicker washers. Because 1 hour 30 total time would be perfect. Maybe even just 2 hours. And if the quick washers are 30 minutes, why can't they make all these cycles like 30 minutes? Or make the allergy cycle 1 hour 15? Or make the cottons wash 2 hours 30? Because, that's an understandable time. This is without any options. But people with allergies want to use at least an option like this. And Aqua Plus will add time because it needs to do an extra rinse. An easy care? Well, look at the size. I can't do a very big load in this. I do like to put in big loads, full loads, because I don't want to, be putting a bunch of small loads in. And if I was to put a full load, this cycle will take longer anyway because it senses that it's a full load and it wants to add more time than it's supposed to do, which is the point of it choosing this time is because it's telling me to do a 4 kilo wash. I like to do the 9 kilo wash. or even a 7 kilo wash, but those are only available on Allergy Plus cottons. Easy Care does not allow it. It just does not allow that kind of cycle. So the only cycle I feel comfortable with is not, because I would use this, but Bosch doesn't let you do a full load. But I'm going to test that. You know what? I'm testing it anyway. I'm going to put a full load in and we'll see how it does. You know? Because then people are just going to continue complaining to me, saying about these long washes, and I'm just not a fan of this moaning. I've had enough. This machine is newer, it's stronger, it's got a brushless motor, so there's no brushes that can go bad. And it's got better balancing, believe it or not. This machine won't let any bounciness. I've seen it do unbalanced spins, but like the old machine, it hit the back panel. This doesn't hit at all. I've seen this machine unbalance itself, but it's never bashed itself in the back of it. It's never bashed the sides or anything. I feel like this machine is so much better and a lot more durable than the old one. That old one felt like flimsy rubbish. And to have it last 10 years and 1 month with all these long washes I've done in it. I've done that same 3 hours 12 cycle in that XL7 for 10 years and 1 month. And it had no breakdowns, not a single one in that whole time. That is proof that these long washes don't really kill machines unless you excessively abuse the machine. And that could be putting a load above 9 kilos. Like if you put a 10 kilo load in to such an extent, it won't allow to wash. It will wash it, but it won't actually make it wet. It won't do anything. It will just fill up with water, and the clothes will be spinning in a block of clothing. There will be no splashing, no tumbling. That's abusive. And then you could imagine in the spin, this machine going crazy because you put in a 10 kilo load when the whole drum is a 9 kilo load. And I don't abuse machines, so these long washes don't hurt the machine unless I was to abuse it. And I don't abuse these washing machines, especially the fact these are German machines. I would never want to abuse it by overloading. Because overloading is not a good thing for machines, but I've seen people overloading machines. I have seen it so many times in YouTube videos. Yes, I watched YouTube videos, and I've noticed some people overload their washing machines so much more than the machine could even handle. And that's just too much for the machine. That is what kills the machine. Was for me, I don't overload these machines. In fact, I do this. I make sure the space by using my hand like this to make sure there's that good gap between the laundry and the drum. Some people don't do that. They just put it in and expect the machine to wash it. But if it's overloaded and they don't know that it's overloaded, or they've done that deliberately just for YouTube, then that's just abusive to the machine. These aren't toys. These aren't supposed to be overloaded. And, I don't do that. I make sure that the load is appropriate for the machine. Even though I've put in 8 kilos on a 7 kilo wash, it did not kill the machine. The machine, during the spin, balanced all the load. Eventually, it span, some of the spins were so balanced that it was unbelievable. And that's the thing. I've looked after this machine. I've made sure there's no mold. I've cleaned out all this within every cycle. I've basically kept this window clean because if I didn't keep it clean, by now we would have seen a big residue from detergent. And I also dust this window as well. I'll make sure that there's no dust on it because that makes it dirty. But that looks well clean. That looks like ever since it was new. And if I ever have to put this through maintenance wash, I will definitely do it. And I will use Calgon. Yes, Calgon specifically. Because Calgon is good. Calgon is recommended by this brand. What's here? Just noticed there's a little gap. It's not too disturbing, I'm just a bit curious. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyway, you get the point. I've not been abusive to the machine. I've looked after it. I've made sure it's clean. I have not overloaded it. I did with the old washing machine quite a few times. Partially because it was a 7 kilo drum. But this is a 9 kilo drum, so I know exactly, what I'm doing. And if you think I don't know what I'm doing with these machines, well, then that's kind of a joke. I do know how to use washing machines, and I've used plenty of washing machines. Some in a holiday house, I've used an AEG favorite. I can't say that word probably, but it was an AEG one. I did not film it, but it was in a holiday house. Because it wasn't my washing machine, I did not overload it. And of course I don't overload washing machines. I'm not that kind of person. I look after them. Where with the AEG that was in the holiday house, I cleaned the door sill, I cleaned the drawer. And once I had to use a Hoover Vision, which was in another holiday house, that too I looked after and never overloaded it. And I even used detergents that were so good to the machine. I do take care of these washing machines because washing machines do, for some reason, mean the world to me. I've used washing machines for a long time, so I've used them before I even had my YouTube channel up. So you can imagine just how long I've been using these and how well and just how much I know and just how well I am with them. So yeah, I'm not using Easy Care. Before you thought I was actually going to test it, sorry, not happening. I'm using Agi Plus with Aqua Plus on because that is a 4 kilo load. I don't want to overload the machine. I don't want to have it die on me because I've done something to it, like overloading it on a 4 kilo wash. I'm not letting that happen. Even though it's a long wash, as some people say, but I so call it a smart wash because it knows how much water, it knows how much time, so it knows how much time, it knows how much water is needed, and it knows even how much energy it needs. So time, water and energy is all appropriately chosen with the machine's smart sensors, and you don't have to do anything. I've loaded up this machine on a 3-hour 12 wash. I've walked away for that 3 hours 12, watched like a movie, came back, and the machine was done. And I came here, I unloaded it, I put it in tumble dryer, cleaned the door sill, washed it, rinsed this out, and then I just left the door and drawer open, and that was it. And this machine, if it really broke down, it'd only break down if, well, I used it abusively, but I have not done that. I've never used it unabusively. I've taken care of this machine. And people saying I abuse this machine, and that just makes me mad because I don't abuse washing machines. I hate people that abuse washing machines. I like to have them last a long time, and I like them to be looked after. And I do look after washing machines. Even the cheap Indesit that I have. Even that cheap Indesit, I still look after it. Because I don't want it to become too moldy or disgusting. And just because it has a brushed motor, and I use a 2-hour, 20-minute wash, it's because Indesit shows an appropriate time for that wash. Bosch, I don't know why they choose long washers, but it's Bosch. Indesit's what they are, and Bosch is what they are. They're both different brands. So what they do is, I'm gonna have to go now. Time is ticking, but get the point. I take care of washing machines, and I don't abuse them. And I know what I'm doing with this machine. I know that I'm looking after it, even if others think I'm not. So yeah. Anyway, got to go and make a video of the dishwasher, and then I'll be finished for the day. See you then. Bye bye.